Hi guys, it's June and it is definitely the time of transition. So it's beautiful outside, but at the same time it's a little bit overwhelming and it's a little bit chaotic because things are changing. So let's go ahead and get into the garden tour for this month and see what's changed compared to May. So we're going to start off with this bed here to the left and work our way down. This bed here is mostly peppers, tomatoes, marigolds. I also have some stevia, and we sowed some radish seeds. These are the white icicle radishes. I really like these. They're like a daikon style radish. And I also have some green, not green onions, I have garlic chives. So garlic chives in this bed. The problem with this bed is that I did a soil test on it because, as you can see, my peppers aren't really growing. And the soil test shows that this bed is void of nitrogen. So it has some phosphorus, like a medium level of potassium, and the pH is neutral, but it doesn't have a lot of nitrogen. So we'll have to remediate that. I'll work on that so our tomatoes can get back to health. Otherwise, things are moving okay. We have some cucumbers here, a pickling cucumber, and I think another Itachi cucumber. So if you guys are familiar with anime, then you will know why we got the Itachis. But as you can see, these are struggling a little bit. So we have to remediate this. As you'll see in the other bed, that the peppers that we started from seeds are looking really good. Most of our peppers we started from seed, but the ones that we put in this bed are struggling. So again, we'll remediate that. We have some Thai basil here. And again, struggle bus this lemon boy tomato. It was doing great, and after a while, it just started to poop out on me. These tomatoes are actually starting to bounce back. Again, beautiful marigolds. I will do a separate video, or maybe in my next garden tour, I'll go through the different varieties of tomatoes we're growing. We're growing slicers, paste tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. There's a lot of variety. So there we go. We'll move on to this garden bed over here. And as you can see, this bed looks a lot more lush compared to this side over here. So I'm guessing whatever imbalance is over here is not on this side. Again, lots of beautiful marigolds and tomatoes. And marigolds are great companion plants for tomatoes. You can see. Which one is this actually? This is a Big Mama tomato. It looks beautiful. And I have some other varieties, but I'll go through those in another video. Marigolds, tomatoes, all the tomatoes in this bed look really healthy. And I still have the lettuce leaf basil over here. And we have, there's an overview. So we have lettuce leaf basil right on this edge here. You'll see in the bottom corner. We also have carrots and onions. And on this back side of the tomatoes is borage growing. So that is said to be a good companion plant for tomatoes. I've grown it with tomatoes before, and it is a bee attracting plant. The bees love this plant. I haven't eaten the flowers. I heard they taste like cucumbers. So I'll probably try that this year. But you'll see there's little borage seedlings popping up behind the tomatoes. And we have zinnia and my cinnamon basil. There we go. My cinnamon basil seedlings have started to pop up. So very happy about that. But this is an overview of our second bed. And we'll move on to our third bed over here. So this third bed is primarily dwarf Siberian kale, lettuces, and a few other surprises. So I have the calendula over here that's finally starting to grow and get established. So I'm hoping they'll start flowering soon. These are a beautiful flower and they're edible. So you can put these in your salads. And the unknown onions, because we lost our plant labels in the thunderstorm when I let the seedlings out. And I have a feeling that these might be, I have a feeling that these might be green onions. There's one here that doesn't look like the rest, so it's probably a mix, but we'll see. They're slow to grow. Again, I'm having a bad luck with soil this year, but um, but I'm still hopeful. We have more calendula because I like to put flowers on the outside of the beds to bring the birds in. And we have lettuce. This is the purple and romaine lettuce. This goes to show how slow this stuff is growing in this soil, because I filmed May's garden tour and this lettuce was still here. And lettuce does not take that long to harvest. So the fact that it's still here is showing you. So we'll take this out probably tomorrow because we had salad for dinner last night. And I have more green onions. Don't look at this. Don't look at this. We'll talk about this in a second. More flowers. And here's the dwarf Siberian kale that has been getting tore up by bugs. I sprayed this with neem oil because I ran out of BT. And what I'm going to do is just I'm going to cut off all of the leaves that are getting demolished. And I'm going to let the inner leaves, I'm going to let the younger leaves start to take shape in hopes that the neem oil and BT, once I get some, will help with the worms. I grew up in North Charleston, South Carolina before moving to the DMV area. And in South Carolina, we eat boiled peanuts. Now, most people might eat peanuts as peanut butter, roasted, honey roasted, but we love peanuts boiled with Cajun seasoning, with ham hock, with all the flavorings. So I'm now growing peanuts here on this side of the empty row. And we also love in South Carolina okra. So in my last tour, I talked about how we were growing green okra, but in this empty space here, we're actually going to grow red okra. So I'm very excited about having fried okra, okra and tomato stew, and also some boiled peanuts that remind me of being home in Charleston, South Carolina. Okay, so this is our third bed. Let's move on to our fourth. As you can see, the calendula has already started to open up and it's very pretty. The beets are hardly moving and the radishes are hardly moving, but they are moving. They're actually moving more than the beets. So these are, again, white icicle radishes. We had a bunch of, the red globe style radishes, so we're just switching it up a little bit. More calendula and dino kale that I also sprayed. So I'll do the same. I'll cut all the leaves that got bitten up and we'll let the inside baby leaves take hold in hopes that the worms and insects won't bother it if I keep it sprayed with BT. For now, I'm definitely going to go with row covers for these beds next year to try and see if that'll prevent my worm problem. So that is for next year. Here on this side of the bed, you can see that the white icicle radishes have started to bulb up. So again, growth and progress. These are our leeks that are still very tiny. I accidentally pulled one up when I was weeding in here and it smelled really good, but they're still very tiny. You can hardly see them. Okay, we're going to move over to the middle. And in this middle bed, we have these red Norland potatoes that are just now starting to pop up. So I purposely planted them later because we don't have a large storage area for potatoes and I didn't want the purple Viking and the red Norland at the same time. So they're starting to pop up, but not everywhere. So I'm going to give this another week or so, and if they don't pop up in the middle, because as you can see they're just on the sides, but if they don't come up in the middle, I think I'm just going to plant something else in the middle. Maybe something quick, maybe more lettuce, more salad, ingredients because they grow very fast. And that way, when it's time to harvest up the potatoes, I'm not harvesting up like a money crop. So, okay. Now we're going to move on to my favorite place over here in this garden so far. And this is where we're growing the beans. And you can see that the beans are really taking off. They're climbing and they're climbing high. I have 2 squashes in here. Don't ask me why I haven't gotten rid of one yet. They're both starting to put on flowers. So we will have more squash from this plant. So we'll have squash from this plant soon. We also have the corn growing on the back. So some sunflowers here on the side. I stuffed a Roma tomato here because whatever I planted there didn't sprout and I had a tomato. So I put it there. And then I have lots of nasturtiums. So these are the tip top mahogany nasturtiums and golden bantam corn. That looks great. And in between the nasturtium and the corn, you'll see we have some peppers. These are the same peppers that I started from seed that look way better and much more established than the ones that I showed you in the first bed. So we'll do a tomato pepper video where I can go over all of the different varieties. As you can see that the flowers are starting to turn into little baby peppers. More sunflowers. More zinnias on the side here. More zinnias on the side. And another squash. So all of the squashes are starting to flower. You can see a lot of the male flowers. The skinny looking ones are the male flowers. And let's see if I can show you. I'll show you on the zucchini plant. Yeah, it's hard to see, but I'll show you on the zucchini plant, the female flower. It's obvious because it looks like a zucchini, because it is. So we have on this side the Carminat pole beans, the Lima beans, the Kentucky Wonder pole beans, and the red noodle beans. And we talked about how much I love the red noodle beans. So I'm hopeful that I'm gonna also like the yard long beans that are on this side. We have more Carminat, the red pole beans. And as you can see, these ones are struggling. Yeah, these are struggling compared to the ones over here. So these are the same. And you can see that these are a lot more lush. But every morning I just come through with a cup of coffee and I just take these vines and help them up the trellis. So I just broke that one. Didn't happen. So we just work these things up the trellis here and eventually they'll take. I do that every day. See, we have one right here. They grow really fast, so just be prepared. So let's go ahead and go around this bed actually. We have more sunflowers. I have a pepper, a Caribbean hot pepper that I need to plant. That's why I have the drip on, because I forgot to water this. And we have more borage in this little space right here, as you can see. And more sunflowers growing. So these are the Mongolian giant sunflowers. They're probably planted too closely together, but that's fine because they're already here. And most of the time the birds get our sunflower seeds anyway. So it's perfectly fine. And here we have green onions that look great. And what we're happy to see is that our beans are finally starting to get established. So these are the purple teepee bush beans that are starting to flower. Soon we'll have some beans there, and also our dragon tongue bush beans. And we have lots of flowers here, so we expect some beans coming from this region pretty soon. I have stuffed a little Thai basil here and more nasturtium. So this is more of the tip-top mahogany. This is a borage that is way more established than the other seedlings. So this is the future for the other ones, same as this one goes right here. All right, so this is our bean area. Since we're here, we'll go ahead and knock out these two middle ones. They're both filled with sweet potatoes. These are sweet potato slips that we got from the store. The Beauregard variety, I'm pretty sure. It's the same variety we grew last year. And we got these slips because these slips, which are the ones that I started myself from sweet potatoes we grew last year, they got a little damaged when I was going to transplant them. So I didn't know if they were going to bounce back, but they obviously are bouncing back. So I'm very happy about that. But we'll have 2 beds of sweet potatoes. I really love sweet potatoes, so very excited about that. They can grow up the trellis, and we use the leaves. We saute the leaves like spinach, and it's pretty good. It's softer than spinach, but pretty good. Okay, so let's tackle this bed here, and we'll have one more. Well, let's tackle this bed here, then we'll go here, and we'll finish off over here. Okay, so now we're at our Patasan's golden scallop marb squash. I hope I said that right. Again, it's starting to flower, and I actually have 2 planted. I moved one, and this one is really starting to get big, so that's good news for me. And we have more peppers. I think probably it's enough water, so I'm going to turn off this drip. Okay, enough water for the peppers, but you can see lots of little baby nodes there. Those are banana peppers and some black Hungarian wax and more. So the peppers over here are looking great, and these are all peppers that I started from seed. Again, the same seedlings that we saw in the first bed that look nothing like these here. We have more carrots, and I planted a watermelon to grow over the side of this bed just to see what it's going to be like. Growing watermelon is a bit difficult because, well, I won't say it's difficult, but you do need a lot of space, and the weeds can be a bit of a problem. So I'm hoping the landscape fabric will be a good area for the watermelon to go. And we also have okra. The okra is starting to form the little rosettes, which I'm ecstatic about because I can't wait to have fried okra and okra stew. But they look very strong. And we have more zinnia. They're starting to flower as well to bring more bees to the garden. We have the green onions and also Bib lettuce. So I reseeded this area so that we could have more Bib lettuce because the germination was low. I also squeezed in some arugula and some pepper grass, which we haven't tasted yet. There's more peppers on this back end here. So there are 12. Yeah, so there are 12 pepper plants in this bed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 2. And we also have this basil. Make sure that you're always harvesting your basil. As you can see, I just come through and I snip that main stem to encourage the side growth so you get a nice big bushy plant. And this basil is also next to lettuce leaf basil and the squash that, I don't know, I came out here yesterday and it just looked like this. So I'm not quite sure if I burned it. Maybe I accidentally sprayed it with neem oil and I didn't mean to. I'm not quite sure. But the good news is that we have little zucchinis. The good news is that we have little zucchinis popping up, as you can see. So we'll take that for what it is. Okay. This is our last big bed before we get to our last small bed. Again, more calendula. I started a lot of calendula seedlings, so they're everywhere. A couple of different varieties. We'll see them more as they start to flower. We also have cucumbers that are probably going to need to be sprayed. But they're starting to grow. I see some flowers there, and they're going to grow up this trellis. We have dino kale and early Wakefield cabbage and dazzling blue kale on the side of that. All of these, I'm debating on whether I want to pull them out and just plant something else. I'm just running out of things to plant at this point. So I'm probably going to take the cabbages out, and I might just spray the kale and take off the bad leaves and see if it survives. Leeks here that I bought because I noticed the other ones that I had were growing slowly, but we didn't have time to plant them, so I just stuck them. I group planted them on purpose, but not really, because we didn't have much time and they were sitting around and I wanted to get them in the ground, so we got leeks in the ground. And thyme, even though I said I wasn't going to put any perennials in the garden bed, thyme is an exception to the rule, because when I grow it in the in-ground garden, it always gets shaded out by some other massive plant. So it never gets the love and sunshine that it deserves. So I'm going to keep it here in the raised garden bed for now. Also some Swiss chard. This one is going to seed, so I'm going to probably pull it. And I also stuffed a watermelon here. This is a bush variety of watermelon called the Cow Sweet. I picked this up from one of our local nurseries. More of that flower that I can't pronounce, but the flowers are pretty. And this is a golden crookneck squash, the yellow ones that you will find at the grocery store. And I transplanted this from the other garden bed over there, so the yellowing is because of a little bit of transplant shock, but otherwise it's doing really good. More unknown onions, our dazzling blue kale that is getting eaten, which is fine, because we're gonna fix it, or we're gonna get rid of it. We have our snapdragons and some dill, and I just stuffed these here because I had the space at the time. So on the edges here I have like little tomatillos that I have to put in certain places, so I'll get to those. I also have San Marzano tomatoes growing in these containers with a little bit of basil and peppers that aren't looking that great. Here we have the purple Viking potatoes, and these are about a month or so away from being harvested. I'm trying my best not to stick my hand in the soil to see what's in there. Try not to mess it up, but I'm very eager to know what's in there because I love homegrown potatoes. It's really hot out here, so if you guys like this video, please make sure to like and share. And also, if you want to see how the peanuts grow, if you want to see what tomato varieties I'm growing, then make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified when I post new videos. I enjoyed our walk in the garden today, and I hope to see you guys back here soon. Bye.